Okay, well, thank you everyone for attending today. My name is Pierre. I'm the Senior HR Analyst for the City of Carson. I'm also being assisted by Ms. García Rodriguez, an HR Specialist in the Human Resources and Risk Management Department. Today, this is the open enrollment session for CalPERS, and we have Renozo from CalPERS with us. He's going to be telling us about CalPERS, and all the wonderful options, changes, and what is it that you need to know during the open enrollment. And for the record, this session is being recorded and will be posted on the city's website within 2 business days after today. Okay, Renozo, it's all yours. Enjoy.
Okay, thank you, Pierre. So I'd like to thank the City of Carson for reaching out and allowing us this opportunity to participate in your meeting and just share a little bit of information related to open enrollment, the tools that CalPERS provides, and additionally, just retirement information in general. I'm sharing the screen, the CalPERS general website, because most of the information that CalPERS provides is found publicly on the general CalPERS website. So most members, if they're on the CalPERS website, they just go to forms and publications. And a lot of the times what they end up doing is just searching for a form or a publication that they might be interested in. What I like to point out is, especially during open enrollment, one of the things that CalPERS has done to the homepage is they've made an open enrollment section directly related to any open enrollment details, questions that about the plans, about the costs that members may have questions with. Also on the homepage, one of the tools that CalPERS provides are going to be the videos. So if you would scroll down just straight from the general calpers.ca.gov homepage and you go to the view the CalPERS videos, it leads you to YouTube. So CalPERS does have a channel. I'm going to mute this because it tends to play right away. So if we pause that real quick, we'll stop that. But if you scroll down, and I tend to go to the playlist, and if you view the playlist and go to the member retirement benefits, you see a lot of the information that CalPERS puts out for member retirement. Let's stop that from playing. As well as open enrollment, as well as if you were looking into understanding your retirement benefit options, your online service retirement application. So some of the tools that CalPERS provides straight from the videos on YouTube, you can watch them at your own pace, go back, refer to them. So that's one of the pluses about being able to just be aware that CalPERS does post a lot of the videos related to, like I said, open enrollment and just general retirement questions. The second, as far as for planning purposes for maybe retirement, was going to be the other CalPERS website that we offer to our members, which we refer to as our My CalPERS site. So you can get to the My CalPERS site straight from the CalPERS homepage by clicking on the link up at the top right corner. It opens you to another page where you would have had to have created an account. So generally you're an active member or you're a retiree already. So you'd click on that and then you just open it up with your username and password. I'm pretty transparent, so we're just gonna show you the process and show you some of the tools that are available to you. And then of course, at the end, we'll open it up to any questions that you might have. But yes, of course, if you ever forget your username and password, you can click on the forgot your password little link, and then you can either have a code texted to your phone, or you can answer some security questions, or you can always call the CalPERS 888-225-7377 phone number to have somebody unlock you if you've forgotten your password. Essentially though, once you log in, the site, what it's going to do is, again, no thanks, I don't want to save anything, but it's going to link you to the homepage. Now, normally you don't see this part about open enrollment. You normally just go straight down and you see the account summary. You see your retirement, you see your balance, the service credit that you've accrued. But right now, one of the features that CalPERS has put out during the open enrollment period is an area where you can go straight to information about your own open enrollment account. So you can see the open enrollment period started yesterday and it runs through October 16th. And of course, any changes that you make through your HR take effect January 1st. So definitely things that you can do during the open enrollment period is you can change your CalPERS health plans, you can add eligible dependents, you can remove dependents, you can cancel your CalPERS health coverage, or you do nothing and you just keep the same coverage that you had with the same dependents, right? On the CalPERS website, you can kind of see some of the changes. So right from, from this open enrollment page, I can see, well, my plan is currently Kaiser. And if I continue that Kaiser, I know that it's going to change in 2021. And so my responsibilities, my screen updates it, and it tells me I was paying $121 per my pay period. And in 2021, that's going to change to $154 per pay period. So again, and I can see the total, well, there's other pages where I can see all of the plans, and I'll show you that as well so that you can compare based on what your employer pays versus, you know, what the plans cost, and that way you can decide if cost is, you know, the concern for the plan, then you can decide which plan you might want to switch to. Of course, from this page, you can click on Search Health Plans, and it essentially takes you to a page where you're going to see all of the health plans, all of the premiums that are available based on your qualifying zip code. So two things: while you're working, you can use either works zip code or you can use your own home zip code to see what plans are available. When you are retired, it is strictly your physical address. So you're only tied to your physical address when you're already retired. And then you would tell the system whether you're a state or SUSU employee or retiree or a public agency or school. And of course, City of Carson, you would be public agency, so you would click on that. If you are still working, of course, they would be basic plans that you'd be looking to see what the costs are. In the event that you were retired and your dependent was over 65, you might need to search the Medicare plans or the combination plans because the rates are going to be different when you are retired and of Medicare age, which is 65. But for now, we'll just say, let's look at the basic plans. Let's look at you only. And if you don't belong to any of these associations, you can hit search. You can search based on the doctor that you have if you wanted to. I don't search for doctors. So then I would kind of get an idea based on the area, what are the costs of the plans? And so you can kind of see the plans that are available based on the zip code that you reside in, or again, that you work in, and see what the costs are. When you want to start comparing the coverages, that's going to be a little bit more. There's other pages that you can look to kind of learn about the plans. You can actually go to the website. So each of these areas under the name of the plans, they have the website to the plan itself. So it wouldn't be CalPERS, but they would be directing you to the plan itself. And then from the plan, you could find out the evidence of coverage, the general, you know, coverage levels or coverages that are provided. All of the plans are going to come with similar coverages, just the doctors or medical groups, some have and some don't have. So those are going to be the things about open enrollment. If you are going to make changes during open enrollment, so of course, you can go back to the home page and they kind of give you the steps. Okay, so things that you might need to know, if you want to see your own statement, if you want to choose the plans. So we already, from the home page, we list the steps, things you might want to consider if you're examining what health plan to switch to. If you want to see, you know, just general summary, so you want to see all the plans kind of side by side, we have the 2021 Health Benefit Summary publication. So that's a CalPERS publication where you can open it up and you can see, okay, what are the copays for office visits? What are the copays if I have to go in an ambulance? Or what are the copays for emergency services? So that will be found in our 2021 Health Benefit Summary publication. In the event that you are retiring or retired and you're over 65, well, then we have the CalPERS Medicare Enrollment Guide, which will give you information about the requirements in order to stay covered under a CalPERS plan, right? You are going to need to enroll in a Medicare at that point. And then we do have the document in the event that you are going to be making changes. We have the Health Benefit Plan Enrollment Form. So that will be, just click on that, it opens up a PDF, and then you can fill it out and then send it to your health benefits officer. So related to open enrollment, that's some of the tools that CalPERS has made available for our members during this period. A lot of the questions that, of course, CalPERS gets are going to be questions about the retirement. Okay, so I'm planning to retire. I want to see how much I'm going to get, and they want to know how much they're going to get. And so this site, this My CalPERS site, allows you to find and get those estimates to allow you to plan for retirement as well. And I like starting from the beginning because most of the common use tools you can find straight from this My CalPERS homepage. Under this area where it says retirement, well, I can go at the bottom of that and hit calculate a retirement estimate, and then I can start a new estimate. And it'll give me projections. What will my pension be when I retire on, you know, a certain date or maybe a certain age? So if I click on that, I can actually start a new estimate. And let's say I want to plan based on an age. So I want to see what would I get if I retired at 55. And so I hit continue. Sometimes your salary pre-populates. Hopefully it pre-populates. Sometimes it does not. If your salary doesn't pre-populate, what the system's pulling is pulling an average of, if you're a classic member, it's pulling your highest 12 months of your full-time pay rate. It's pulling that average automatically. If you happen to have been entered into CalPERS on or after January 1st, 2013, it's likely pulling your PEPRA, which is a 3-year average salary, right? So I just usually, if it pre-populates, I go with continue. System then asks, do you normally work full-time? If you do, perfect, leave it at full-time. If you're less than full-time, if you say part-time, well, then it needs to know how many hours you work per week, how many months per year, so that the system can do a projection of how much service credit you would accrue up to your retirement date. So we leave it at full-time. I usually, I work for an employer that contracts for unused sick leave provision. I work for an employer that contracts for this particular benefit that's called a survivor benefit. City of Carson doesn't contract for this particular post-retirement survivor allowance. So you won't get this question because the city doesn't contract for it. And you won't get it if you've never worked for an employer that has never contracted for the survivor benefit. If you've worked for multiple CalPERS employers, you still might get this question, and it'll be prorated based on the time that you spent with that other CalPERS employer. So I just leave it at no for now. Everyone gets the question on if they want to include beneficiaries, because the way that the pension works in retirement is that if you want to have a beneficiary, it will actually reduce what you will receive. So your pension is actually reduced if you want a beneficiary to get something. So that's even if you want them to get the remainder of whatever is left on, you know, if you were to pass away and there was a balance, you would still take a reduction for that. Or if you want your beneficiary to get a monthly check for their entire lifetime, there would still be some type of reduction for that as well. And anyone can be your beneficiary. It could be your spouse, it could be, you know, your children, it can be siblings, anyone can be the beneficiary. So if we wanted to do an example, we'll do an example of, let's say, 1, and I'll just put in my beneficiary's birthday. And I don't need to put in a percentage, I don't need to put in a dollar amount. The system's already going to give me 4 choices based on that beneficiary's birthday. So I'll leave it, just so that you can see it, I'll put in a 25% and $1,000 for my beneficiary. And so if I hit the calculate button, I then get a projection of what I would receive if I continue to work with essentially my same salary until the age of 55. And so I can see here that I have different choices. So I can get this option, maybe make this a little bit larger. I can choose this option called the unmodified allowance, which is the greatest benefit you can get from CalPERS. So that's the highest amount. So that starts at this value. But then if I want to have beneficiaries, well, that value gets decreased to some other amount. And it all depends on what I want to leave for my beneficiary. So if I want to leave my beneficiary my same check, well, my amount's going to get decreased, right? But then my beneficiary would get the same amount that I was going to get after I pass away for their entire lifetime. Or if I want them to get half, right? Well, half, 50%, I can come down to some other amount. And then when I pass away, my beneficiary gets half. So this screen kind of lets you plan for, okay, so I see the numbers at 55, but what if I decided to wait and retire at 60? And so you can come in and actually, so the system will tell you the details that were used in the calculation, but I would go to the next, actually recalculate the estimate scenario. So at, we'll say 55, I'd be looking at about 3,440, but if I waited until age 60, so I maybe did that a little fast. I went to recalculate estimate. The steps are broken down, with the drop down. So I open up step number 1, and then I change the age. So originally I told it 55. I'm just going to replace that with 60. And then I'm just not going to change anything else. I still want to have the same beneficiaries. I'm assuming the same salary, and then just hit recalculate. And so now my 3,440 just changed to 4,711. So the system then gave me a pretty good idea of how much my benefit would change, assuming I stayed working another 5 years and I was another 5 years older. And so that's really a valuable tool for members when they start planning for their retirement. As far as key dates to retire, sometimes birthday quarter comes into play. If you're younger than age 60, or some of you may have got hired a little bit later, in which case your birthday quarters play a factor until maybe age 63. And then if you happen to be a PEPRA member, so PEPRA members were individuals that qualified for CalPERS on or after 2013, technically until 67, the birthday quarters play a factor. So the age kind of makes a difference until 67 for those newer CalPERS members. But if you're considered classic and you're before, there was a key date of May 6th of 2011. So before May 6th of 2011, the 3% at 60 is what your retirement formula is. So once you hit 60, the age factor really doesn't matter after that. If you became a member on or after May 6th of 2011, but before January 1st of 2013, then you have until age 63 where that age factor and your birthday quarters make a difference. But the system already has that built in. So it's already pulling that. It knows your age. It knows based on your retirement date what age you will be. And so the system's already calculating in the age factors for you. It's just if you're trying to get an idea of what day works better, we're probably always going to recommend, hey, looking at your birthday or 3 months from your birthday exactly to the date. So if your birthday is, give you an example, my birthday January 16th, 3 months after that, we'd be looking at April 16th. And then 3 months after that, July 16th. And 3 months after that, October 16th. So those would be my birthday quarters as soon as I'm eligible for retirement. With regards to calculating the pension, the salary changes. So CalPERS does take an average. So if you get a salary increase, well, ideally you work at that higher salary for 12 months if that's that's the 12-month period that CalPERS is looking for. But if you don't work for that 12 months and you only work at that higher salary for 6 months, then that salary increase counts. But we're going to be looking at 6 months of your new salary, 6 months of the old, and doing the average. Okay. And if you happen to be, like I said, a PEPRA member, so hired on or after January 1st, 2013, we're actually looking for a 36-month period. And so we're taking the average of a 36-month period. So if you do get a pay rate increase and you want that increase to be your average, well, then you have to work 3 years after that increase, right? And then the average matches your pay rate. So generally, those are the things that members ask about when they're planning for retirement purposes. CalPERS also has cost of living adjustments, so there will be increases to your pension once you start collecting. Those increases start the second calendar year from the calendar year you retire in. So anybody retiring in 2020, anytime in 2020, they're eligible in 2022, and it's always paid on the May 1st check. So if there is an increase, our members are going to see it May 1st. 2 calendar years from the calendar year they retire in. And then after that first one, it's every May 1st after that, as long as the consumer price index stays above 1% and up to a 2% increase. So generally, that's what we cover in the retirement. Our classes are definitely, CalPERS offers classes which you can find from your My CalPERS account. So if you wanted to attend a class, a virtual class that CalPERS puts on, we do offer them. They're generally the one that's most in-depth. It's called Planning Your Retirement. That's about a 2.5-hour class. And right now it's virtual, but if you wanted to attend that or if you wanted to watch a video of that, that is available. You can get to that from your My CalPERS account. If you went to the education area and you went to classes, you can find, so if I wanted to see an instructor-led class, that's going to be there. And then view class details for this class, Planning Your Retirement, that's the most common one. people that are actually ready to fill out an application, that want to see the application, that would be the retirement application and beyond class. So that's if you're ready to submit. But if you wanted to see the details of that class, you can kind of see some of the classes that are being offered. So right here, I live in LA County, so it's pulling up the classes from our Glendale office because just of where I live, it pulls up the county that you live in. So if you live in Orange County, it would pull up the classes for Orange. But for example, so we have something on Tuesday, October the 6th, that's the next one, and then Friday, October the 23rd, and you would just enroll. And right now, after you enroll, you put in an email address, and then maybe the day before the class, you get an email so that you can attend one of our virtual classes. If you are looking for a publication, there's different ways to get publications from CalPERS. You can either find it from the education, go to publications and look for it. Scroll down, we offer different publications. Planning Your Retirement is a pretty good one. Now, if I download the PDF, or if you add it to the cart, this publication, if you like, holding something and actually flipping through it old school, we can mail you this publication. So that's an option for you if you are logged in. Because if you're logged in, we already have your address. We know where to send things to. If you're on the external CalPERS website where you didn't log in, and you go to just the home page, we have the forms and publications, and you can find the same publications, but of course it would only be for downloading and then printing. So with that, that's generally the most commonly discussed items, and we have a short period of time. So I want to open it up to any questions that you as the public have for me as a CalPERS senior retirement counselor. I work at the Orange office. I do these generally before this COVID-19 pandemic. We would do, or I would do, the face-to-face presentations. So the instructor-led classes. I would also be there in our office. So if members come in, they have an appointment, they would meet with me one-on-one. We discuss the retirement benefits, as well as if you just walked in. We would go over any questions that you might have. So if you have any questions, now would be a good time to perhaps unmute yourself, go ahead and ask me the question, and then I can kind of show you where to find it. Either just give you the answer or actually show you where to find it through one of our publications or how to do it through your online account.
Okay, so do we have any question for Nazo? Okay, Gersel, did we receive any emails with any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Okay, neither did I receive any questions. Well, I'm not seeing any questions either in the chat.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I just joined a few minutes ago, so I missed the bulk of everything you said. How can we, are you having another meeting where you can obtain the information again? Because I missed everything.
Well, that's
Dave,
okay.
Sorry.
Oh, Pierre, go ahead.
Yes, who am I talking to first of all?
My name is Andrea. I'm an employee of the city of Carson.
Okay, Andrea. Yes, so we're actually going to have the full video on our city's website within 2 days, or the city YouTube channel. We're working on figuring out that right now. So the full presentation will be listed today. If you have any specific questions, you can go ahead and ask Renaud about, but without going into personal details, because this meeting is being attended by other people other than yourself, okay? It's also being recorded.
Right. Well, I just wanted to know when it would be available for viewing. As I said, I missed the meat of the meeting, so that was my question.
Yeah, so again, we're going to try to do it within 2 business days. We're working on this as fast as we can.
Well,
Again, this is yes, go ahead.
I have a question. So can you, if you haven't already, spoken a little bit about like your benefits, your medical and dental and vision benefits after you retire, or how much you have to pay into it to get the same level of benefits that you have right now as an employee, as a full-time employee?
So if you were to go on the CalPERS website, we have, so I don't know, are you, I'm thinking you're familiar with the My CalPERS account where you log in. Once you're logged in through the CalPERS website, if you went into health, there's an area that I don't have it because I'm not of retirement age yet, but essentially it's very similar to a screen that I was going through earlier, where right now from the homepage, because we have this open enrollment timeframe, CalPERS put an open enrollment period in there. So for me and for you, when you log in, you would go to health, and we have something that says health into retirement calculator. So you would have that option to go to health into retirement calculator, and you could kind of see that the system would ask what your projected retirement date is. And it only allows you to do within 12 months because we only know the rates for 2021. So if you were thinking, oh, I want to retire in 2024, you're not going to be able to use that health into retirement calculator because we don't know what the health rates are going to be at that time. But if, you know, it's relatively within the next year or so, that health into retirement calculator will kind of allow you to put in, you know, what the retirement date is. It'll ask you if there's anybody that's eligible for Medicare at the time you retire. So basically, are you 65 or do you have a dependent that's over 65 on your plan? And then kind of let me show you what it would look like. It would look a lot like, so you'd have to, you know, accept the terms of that it's just an estimate, but it should be pretty accurate for you. You would hit, you know, the plan year that you're looking for. So 2021 in this case. City of Carson happens to be referred to as CalPERS as a public agency. And then if no one is eligible for Medicare, so nobody on your plan is 65 yet, then you'd be looking for basic plans.
Right.
If you and your, let's say you have a spouse and both of you are over 65, then you'd be looking at the Medicare plans. But let's say you're under 65, but your spouse is over 65, then you'd be looking at combination, right?
Right.
So for now, I'll just make it nice and easy because the others get a little bit more complicated and you might want to talk one-on-one with us about the health part. So we'll leave it at the basics. And then if, let's say you had, you know, you plus one dependent, so two people, and you don't belong to any of these associations, we'll say none of these, and then you search for plans. If you want to include your doctor, you can. I'll just leave it at no for now, just to make it a little bit easier and quicker. And then you'll kind of see, so right now, you're only seeing like the total cost. So this is the total cost. It shows up like this on my screen because I work for the state. So I'm a state employee and this is kind of my account. But when you are a public agency and it's doing it through yours, it already has built-in information of what Carson contracts for with CalPERS. So it would show you what your out-of-pocket would be based on the agreement that Carson has with the city of, with what the city of Carson has with CalPERS. So it would look a little bit different. It might look something more like, so like this, where now it says your share. So if you're in this plan, this would be your share. If you're in this plan, this would be your share. If you're in this plan, it would be your share. And then it would have like an employer share. So that employer share would reflect what the city of Carson would pay towards you as a retiree. Now, as for health benefits goes into retirement, CalPERS only handles the health part of it. The dental and vision part, that I don't know about. You'd have to reach out to Carson to kind of give you a little bit more breakdown of what is available for retirees for dental and vision.
Right.
Okay. So does that help a little bit?
Yes. I'm just curious to see what it would look like for one person. You had one and a dependent. I'd like to see what it looks like for just one person.
Oh, sure. That's
Yes.
pretty easy. So if, you know, again, I'm just going to show you the total cost because that is a little bit more accurate since I work for the state. And City of Carson has a little bit different. So I'm just going to show you the total cost. But essentially all of the plans. So this is how much if you know, if the employer contributed nothing towards the cost, this would be what the member share would be. So the part that's missing is what Carson contributes for its retirees. Right? So this is, and so again, from the other screen, when you do it yourself, you should be able to see how much Carson contributes, and it'll say what your share would be, if any.
And what button did you hit to get that part where it says your share?
Oh, so you're just going to go into the health. So straight from your CalPERS account, up at the top, there's a drop down under health. And then from the health, you're going to see something that says health into retirement calculator or health retirement estimator. I forget the exact words. So, and then from there, you kind of just follow the steps to get to that. You won't have as many choices. It'll be a little bit less choices than what I had.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're welcome. Any other questions?
Okay, I don't see any additional questions. Going once, going twice. Okay, well, that's third. Again, Rozos, thank you on behalf of the city of Carson. We appreciate you coming out today and joining this, giving us this presentation, wonderful information. Again, for all those attended today, the presentation will be available on the city's website within 2 business days from today or sooner. You can also, you're welcome to call HR if you have any, if you need any further explanation or any assistance. We are currently in open enrollment, and we do have other presentations throughout the day today, Thursday, and then next week as well again. Right, Renozo, I know you're they can always reach out to CalPERS, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so once again, thank you everyone for attending, and this meeting is going to be ending now. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.